Everyone. Welcome to another workshop by Tayos. So today we have with us Simin Badar, and as you all know, uh, today's topic is preservation of homegrown fruits and vegetables. So Simin has a very beautiful farm where she grows multiple fruits and vegetables, and she gets a very great harvest of these. So what she does with this is she preserves them to be able to use them in later on. So she's going to show us some of the methods she uses to preserve these excess of fruits and vegetables. So over to you, Simin. Let's get started.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, first of all, I use solar drying. So the main disadvantage this is like in the rainy season, it fungus. So you're able to see this the rose petals which I have dried.
Mm-hmm.
A small quantity is there. So we actually do it in the sun drying, but since the weather is not good, it has fungus. So we use a device called this dehydrator, available on most of online these things. Like you can get it on Amazon or any other thing. So it costs you around 4,000 or something like that. And in that we use electricity to dry the product. So you can dry leaf, even non-veg thing, right? Even, you can dry your onion and all. You just have to and then that shelf and then the device and it will work for around 2 to 3 days. The product will be dried and whereas if you dry in the rainy season and all, it fungus and it gets spoiled. So I use that dehydrator, or else you can just if the place where you are staying if it's good sunlight and all throughout the year, then you can actually slice the stuff or the leaf. You can directly do it in your sunlight also. That is one of the methods which I use. And apart from this, and what the main advantage of this is, after drying, like suppose you are planning to dry tomatoes, just slice them and arrange it and use the dehydrator. And in this, what happens is, you can store it for a long period of time. And when you want to use it, just keep it in water for some time. It will give you the exact flavor what a fresh tomato gives you. So that is the advantage of drying the stuff in the sun. That is one method. And then second, we can go for making jams, juices, and purings can be done. Okay, for yeah,
For fruits.
for fruits. Whereas if you are using leaves or vegetables, you can sun dry them.
Okay.
Even mangoes can be sun dried, and almost everything you can sun dry it. But the only thing is the sunlight should be very good to dry your stuff.
Okay.
And then whenever you want, you reuse it by keeping it in water.
Okay.
And it will be ready. Okay. So the third is for fruits and vegetables, like where you can extract the juice of the fruits. So when you are making extracting the juice, you can make jams, jelly, or juice. For juices or jams, it's almost the same thing. Like let's say you're trying to make a jam or a juice of a mango.
Okay.
You have to first extract the pulp, and then if you have the pulp is around 1 kg, you can add around 700 to 800 grams of sugar or jaggery. If you're adding jaggery, then make it little less, like around 500 to 600 grams of jaggery will be fine. Whereas for sugar, you have to add around 800 grams. I use little less because I want to have the flavor of the fruit which I am using. Instead of having this sweetness, less amount of sugar, Or else you can go for 1 kg of sugar for a 1 kg pulp. And then you have to cook. You just cook it on your stove till you get the desired consistency. For juices, you have to make it little less thick. So you can add a teaspoon. Once it is cooled down, you'll just pour it in the bottle or something like that. Whenever you want, you add a spoonful or 1 tablespoon of your juice, and then remaining quantity of water, full of juice. It will be ready to use, and it will work for around 1 year or so. It will be good.
Wow,
So this
nice.
is one of the juice I have made of. I had made it last year. Made
Mm-hmm.
products. So it is just less of things. And then if you cook for you get a jam consistency. This is also 6 months old jam. So I haven't added anything else. This is a jam of jam. Still taste and taste is good. So
Okay.
how to check the difference for the jams? You have to get, in Hindi we say you have to get one, keep it on your hand. You'll get a single wire kind of, you open it like this. So it
Yes,
means it has
yes.
been done. So you have to
Uh-huh.
be careful with that. And if you overcook it, then it is a waste. So you have to check to get the desired consistency. And one more method to check that is you can take out a spoon of it and add it in a glass of water. If it does not fit, then it is ready to use as a jam.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so that is how I use it. Either jam or a juice you can do, and you can save it in your, if you refrigerate it for at least 1 year or so, it will be good. And then make pickles of your like raw mangoes and all. You can use, there are different recipes for making pickles. So this is one of the pickles which I have made of mango, raw mango.
Uh-huh.
So like if you want the recipe, I'll post it to you because explaining it will be a little difficult because a lot of ingredients goes in the pickle which I make, whereas you
Uh-huh.
have a lot of recipes. And then one more thing which I do is with the tomatoes, I make the tomato puree.
Okay.
Uh, for tomato puree, you have to save it in, you have to freeze it. So for
Okay.
tomato purees, what you do is there are different methods which I basically use it to save my time and work. I'll grind the tomatoes after slicing it. I make the grind it to make the juice out of it, and then on the vessel I'll start cooking it for some time till I get the desired consistency which I want from a puree. In that, for 1 kg of tomato, I add around 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and I'll cook it. If you want, you can add some long also, long powder. It's good for you can use it. And after getting the desired consistency, and when the stuff cools down, I add a tablespoon of vinegar to it. So when you're using this puree, you have to be careful on how you're using when you're cooking, you're adding this puree. You have to be careful with the salt content which you are using it. The amount of salt should be reduced while you're making your whatever dish you're making it.
Okay.
So this is how I do it.
Because
And then
after
like
we cook it, it becomes it thickens and the consistency becomes thick, so the salt will increase.
yeah, no, the amount of salt which you have put will so when you're cooking it, you have to be careful with that.
Okay.
So you already have a salt in your puree. So if you're using, you have to just check the salt content of your dish and then you add it.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you're sun drying it, the stuff like you're making mangoes or lemons. Like for lemons, what we do is the fresh lemons in a glass jar. It should not have any drop of water on the glass jar as well as your mangoes or your lemon. For lemons, lemon should be completely dried. once they are dried, you can add it in your jar, and in that you add a lot of rock sea salt, the mota namak we say, and
Uh-huh.
keep it. So you get the mango lemons will be ready to use. Like a 15 days or 1 month, they change the color, and that lemons can be used for making a lemon pickle. Or
Okay.
when you're not, if you have a digestion problem or something like that, also you can eat that lemon, a piece of it. Or you have a nausea or something like that, vomiting or something you're getting like that, then you can use the dried lemon. It's good for
Okay.
health. And even you can make pickle out of it after some time. So you can keep it like that. And you can store it for around 2 to 3 years also. That will be good.
Yes.
The best, yeah, when you're using leaf vegetables like you have your coriander or uh, dried up very fast or it gets spoiled very fast. So if you sun dry it and you can store it for a longer duration of time, you can either make the powder out of it or you can keep it like I have kept the petals of rose petals. Like that you can store it,
Uh-huh.
but always store it in the glass jar.
Okay.
So it will be better to store in a glass jar. And then when you are making your jams or juices, it's better you refrigerate them. You can keep it
Okay.
outside for maybe a small quantity. You can keep it on your at room temperature, and the rest of the things it's better you keep it in your fridge or freezer. For tomato puree, I would suggest you keep it in your freezer, so it will
Okay.
be good for a longer time of time. So these are the use it. So even tulsi leaves are there. You can dry them up, and you can use it in making your tea and all. Crush it and then use it in your tea, regular tea. It gives you a lot of health benefits and all. Flowers you can dry it up like this. So anything else you want to know?
Can you tell us the fruits that you get in bulk in your farm
We get
and
a lot of
which is
yeah.
good for storing, for preserving?
Uh, we get karunde, which we can use it for making jam, juice, or this thing, pickles.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have mangoes. Mangoes we don't usually they are left to be used, but raw mangoes sometimes I use it for drying it up and then pickling is. Then
Mm-hmm.
jam is there. So jam, if I get it in abundance, then I make jam out of it.
Okay.
Red jam will be good. It will give you a very good texture. Color will also be good. You just have to take out the seeds out of it, de-seed
Okay.
it, and then cook.
Okay. The
So it will
same
be better.
way. The process
Yeah,
is
same
same
way.
for all.
Process is same. Just remove the de-seed it for the jam.
Okay. And what about the skin?
Skin we use it.
Okay. And other
So
fruits like apples, apricots,
no,
do you have them on your
no,
farm?
no. We don't have. In Hyderabad, we don't get those things. Climate is not
Okay.
suitable for that. So in
Yes.
Telangana region, we don't have it. But like you're buying it, or if you stay in some places where you get apricots and you can either sun dry them or you can make a juice out of it. It will be good.
Okay.
Because I have tasted the apples. I've brought it from some store or something like that, where they had sun dried the apples.
Mm-hmm.
Apricots also same way you can use it.
Okay.
So if you want to store it for a longer duration of time and have the exact flavor to it, then go for sun drying. But sun drying, the disadvantage is if you don't have proper sunlight, even for a day or two, then it will get rotten. It will spoil.
Oh,
So
yes.
you have to be careful with that. Or even but rainy season we can't do this. That is the sun drying part.
Yes. And we have seen this practice in olden times, and still a lot of people in villages do this. They dry the red chilies,
Yeah,
they make powder of it.
even your turmeric has can be dried. If you have a
Yeah.
turmeric plants, you can just sun dry them and then use it whenever you want. You can make a small pieces of it. If you make it in a small slices, then it will get dried up very fast. Whereas if you are keeping it a whole bulb or something like that, then it will take a lot of time.
Oh,
So
okay.
slicing will be better. Thin slices and then you can use it. And put it done. Almost all vegetables you can aside them. If you're not the things which are not being used for making or pickles like that, then those can be sun dried. Like you can do it for your tomatoes, onions can be done. Then you have your potatoes. These things can be sun dried. Even onions, if you do it and then just keep it sometime in water, then you use it for your regular cooking and all.
Oh, okay. So what is the care that is needed when we are sun drying our food, other than the sunlight? If there's good sunlight, what other care and precautions that we need to keep in mind?
When you're storing it, use a glass bottle, and it should be completely dried. It should
Mm-hmm.
not have a drop of water in it. It will get
All right.
spoiled. And then, yeah, and then keep the room temperature also. It will be long, good. Like rose petals, we keep it whenever like the roses and all, we keep it, and they will be good for even 2 to 3 years. Also, they will be good, and you will have the smell also.
Oh,
When
wow.
you're using the scented roses, the smell will stay.
Okay.
The ones which you use for making gulkand and
Mm-hmm.
store that you can
Okay. So,
do it.
so these rose petals are sun dried?
Yeah, dried ones. I haven't used the dehydrator that time. These are the sun
Oh,
dried ones.
okay. So,
Like,
isn't there a problem of getting sunburns or something to when we are
no,
using this method?
no. You just have to be careful. Like you just have to see how much they have got dried up, and when you press it, it will get crumbled easily.
Okay.
So they are ready.
And for vegetables, when we are drying, as you said, potatoes, do we
Yeah,
need to wash them, or can we just cut them like that, slice
cut
them?
them and dry it. So save your time. Like
Okay.
I heard for mangoes, people say they wash it and then after drying it completely, then they cut it into pieces and after that they don't use any water to it. They're making a pickle
Oh.
for mango.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas your potatoes, you can first dry it up and then wash it to get back the exact texture. So if you're
Okay.
making chips or you want to fry them or you use it in your gravy, then that time you can wash it.
Oh, okay. And
So
what
the
about
dust part,
the dust? Yes,
yeah.
I was
So,
asking that.
so for that reason, you have to cover it with some protection kind of thing, or else you just wash it before using it.
Okay.
So the rose petals and all, whatever I use it, I wash them and then I use it in my cooking. So that
Oh,
cleans off the dust. Whereas if I'm using a dehydrator, I have an advantage of I'm not, it won't have any this thing dust. It will be safe from the dust and all other things.
okay. So, how much time does it take for any vegetable or fruit to sun dry, and when you are using a dehydrator?
Sunrise in summers around 2 days. It takes for the mangoes 2 to 3 days for raw mangoes to dry up.
Okay.
So even the dehydrator takes almost the same time. So you have to, but it will work only for 72 hours continuously. You can work. That is the
Oh,
dehydrator. Then you have to give a break for around 2 to 3 hours and then you can restart it again if it has not been dried up completely.
okay. So, it has to be running for 72 hours continuously.
Yeah, it can run for maximum 72 hours. But when you are
Okay.
having your any like mint, rose petals or tulsi leaves, within
Mhm.
12 hours they will be reduced.
Okay.
Whereas if you're taking like tomatoes or onions and all, then it will take some extra time. Maybe 2 days or 3 days. You have to check in between. When you're doing it for first, it's better you check if it's ready or not.
Okay.
So that will be a better way.
So, which method do you prefer more?
Like I prefer sun drying it for dehydrate is more convenient. And then it depends on what the family wants. If they want jam or pickle, then I make it. Also, I'll dry the stuff and keep it, and whenever the requirement is, then I use it. And like for
Okay.
if you're taking mangoes for sun dry, then it's better mangoes or on not onions, well, the same potatoes and all. You can sprinkle some salt on it, so they will be good for a longer period of time. You won't get fungus attack will be less, will be minimized.
Yeah.
Then first day I dry up.
Uh-huh.
Then even this thing, Mosambi, citrus, any citrus fruit can be sun dried. But the thing is,
Okay.
you have to add salt to it, or
Okay.
else the moisture in it will spoil it. So you have to spread it evenly, and then you have to be careful. You have to keep checking it. You should not put your hand to it. Even your hand or a wet spoon will spoil the entire stuff.
Oh, okay.
So if you just something like that, you should not touch it with your hand, or even with the spoon, please have water on it to completely dry.
Okay. So we need to wear gloves or something while handling them.
Better use dried soap.
Okay.
Dry with the paper or and then use.
Okay. So when you're talking about citrus fruits like mosambi and all, how can they be used
Yeah.
later on after
Uh,
drying? We can
so
eat it as such.
like later on, like I use it a fruit called as citrus maxima. We get it in our farm. So that
Hmm.
one I use it for making. If I'm using the fresh juice, then I make a jam or jelly or this thing, the juice way. That
Okay.
is how I do it. Or
So how
lemon
many like
squeeze.
yes. So since you have a farm, you get a bulk harvest, but people who have, maybe a small tree in their house or something. So how many
Yeah,
oranges or how many uh, when we are making jams, how much fruit gives you one jar of jam?
around 1 kg to or 2 kgs will give you 1.5 kg.
Okay. Of how big is the jar?
Maybe 1 kg of fruit. By taking 1 kg of fruit, the juice extract it will look less quantity. Let's say
Mhm.
around 5 to 6 kg, 1.5 kg of the juice.
Of, of juice. Okay.
Yeah. And when you add sugar and other things, then the this thing will increase. Some quantity will increase.
Okay. And people, we've also seen people making squashes to make it more concentrated, so you don't have a
Yeah.
lot of bottles to store.
Yeah. Just same
Do
way
you
like
do that?
you make. You just have to remove it before the first part.
Okay.
So it will be juice. That is the squash and all.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use different or three different fruits also. You can use it. I haven't tried it, but you can have a mixed jam and all.
Okay. And
Anything
for herbs, because a lot of people at home grow
else?
herbs in their kitchen garden. So, which is the
Yeah.
best method of drying herbs? Because coriander and mint, they tend to, spoil very easily,
Yeah.
and
So we
also
have to
mint.
remove the stems. You have to take the leaves and then dry it in the sun. Sun dry it, you do it, or use this dehydrator. That is one way. Or else the paste out of these, add some salt to it and then freeze it. Keep it in the fridge. But some people like the fresh smell. You may not get the fresh smell for the coriander and mint leaf if you do it that way. If you make the paste out of it.
Oh, okay.
So that is all. Even curry leaves, if you have it at your house, then you can
Mm-hmm.
dry it. And when the season is not there or this thing, then it can be used. Curry leaves
Yes,
will
because
give you the smell, even if it is, yeah. Even the people who are
the
not in
plant.
India, they take it.
Yes, yes. And a curry leaf plant really grows well at homes also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, the growth also in the curry leaf plant. Once in the year only it starts to grow, and then remaining. That is the
Okay.
disadvantage of the curry leaf. Like in the rainy seasons, it will grow fast, and then after that, it will not. There won't be any movement in it.
Mm-hmm.
Next year only it will start to work, grow.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that
So
time.
if you take out the, yeah, if you have an old tree with a lot of leaves and all, then it is good for you. But if you have a small plant, 1 foot or 2 foot plant, then it will have the new leaves when branches will come. Other time you won't. There won't be any growth. You won't find any growth in these plants.
Yeah. So, if for people like who don't get proper sunlight, maybe in their homes, or they don't have a proper, balcony or terrace to dry something.
Yeah.
So, what do you suggest? Which method is best for them for preserving
It's
their
yeah, you
harvest?
can go for a dehydrator. It's a good product and it's around 4,000 or something like that. You have a 5 shelves, 5 layers of it is there, and then you can dry it. So if you are using any leaves like petals or leaves for a tulsi or mint, it will dry up in a day only. So
Okay.
you'll save a lot of this thing. And then your fruits and all, even your grapes, you can dry to make a kishmish out of it. You can
Mm-hmm.
use it for different purposes also. So you
Okay.
can, like a dehydrator is good for vegetables, non-veg, meat, fish, and all can also be dried in it. And then you
Oh,
can use your fruits also. So anything
oh,
can be done. But the only thing is you have to be careful. If you are using potatoes, then use all 5 shelves. You stack it with the potatoes. Or if you have only one shelf you are using it, then use one shelf and keep the remaining as it is. Don't add anything to it. If you are
okay.
using the leafy vegetables like this thing, flowers or petals like that, then stack it up with all the petals only. Don't keep some other things, 2 or 3 different things to it. So that will be a good product. It's a good product. I'm not promoting it, but I have used it, so I'm saying it.
Okay. There is a question from uh, a speaker, an audience here. Heard of
Yeah.
kasturi methi? What all other things can be preserved by drying and its uses?
Rose petals, I have said. Then you have tulsi leaves, mint, coriander can be dried, and then methi, as she said, kasturi leaves. So curry leaves can be dried up. So since I'm not into a medical profession, I won't be able to tell you more of the benefits of these. So tulsi is good for cold and cough and all those things. You can use it in your tea, good for metabolism and all those things.
Yes.
So since I'm not a professional on the health, it's better I don't speak much about it.
Okay. And Diptish also wants to know the link of the dryer, if you can post it later on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we
If
will.
you can just go on Amazon or any other and just type dehydrator for domestic use, you will get it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'll share you the link also.
Yeah. So we'll share you the link in the comment section below. Diktesh, you
Yes.
can take from there, or as Simin has mentioned, you can check on Amazon. We have a variety of products there. And if
Yeah.
you can type for domestic use, you will get a small one that you can easily use in your homes.
If anyone is planning to go for a commercial one, then it will cost you around 1 to 2 lakhs, and it is I know the place where you can get it. I can share
Oh.
the link also. If anyone has a farm or something where they want to dry up the stuff for a large scale, then
Mm-hmm.
that also works on electricity or inverters, and it costs you around 1.5 lakh. So
Okay.
NABARD has that facility.
Okay.
So
So
they
if
give
you
that.
have any further questions, you can connect with Simin on her Facebook profile.
Yeah.
Her profile name is Simin Badar. The link is there in the description box below. You can connect with her for any further questions that you have, and you can discuss with her personally, and she will help you out.
Yeah, sure, I'll help you.
Yeah.
So this I'll send you the link.
Yeah. Since there was a lot of connection issue due to bad weather, we could log on very late and we had to cut short the workshop. But thank you, Simin, for being with us, giving us your time, and sharing us such valuable information about preservation.
Hope it will help someone out. It was glad talking on the topic.
Yes. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today and being patient with us, even though we were delayed by half an hour. So thank you a lot for being with us. And thank you, Simin, once again.
You're welcome. It was pleasure talking to you.
Same here. And all the things that you have shared were really helpful. I'm sure people who are growing, fruits and vegetables in their homes would try to, at least do some of the preservation methods that you
Yeah,
have shared with us.
sure.
Okay, so we'll
Uh,
end our workshop here.
yeah,
Okay, thank you very much.
thanks.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.